We welcome you inside Freedom Hall in Louisville. We are ready for Stanford and Louisville, a spot in the national semifinal on the line. The winner of this match to take on Pittsburgh after the Panthers took care of Kentucky. At the KFC Yum Center, 5 miles downtown on the line, and we are ready. Elena Ogilvie with the first serve for Stanford. Ellie Glock starts at center. Charity Looper with an early swing, and the first point goes to the Cardinals.
Expect Louisville to use their outsides a lot tonight. Charity Looper and Anna DeVere are two of the best in the country, and they are going to live or die by the lefts.
From one libero to the other, here's Elena Scott serving for the Cards. Cami Minor with the set. Reese Robbins on the right side, a miss hit in the first point for Stanford. Well, these two teams know each other. We know the players. What's going to be the difference in this match in your eye?
The biggest thing to me is who is going to rise to the occasion in big moments. We saw during the last matchup, 3 of those sets were won by just 2 points. It is so close. The margins are razor thin, so it's going to be who's going to rise up. And a lot of these seniors, they don't want to go down.
Well, Jordan Harvey showing off that strong serve for Stanford. This is a very aggressive serving team. They go for it every single time. Block looks for the back row attack from DeVere, but the Stanford block is there.
Stanford's block needs to be all over Anna DeVere tonight. Whether she's in the front court or the back row, they have to know where DeVere is at all times.
Kevin Hambley, in his 8th season as Stanford's head coach, 2 national championships, trying to get to a national semifinal rather, for the first time since 2019 when they won the last national championship. Good save by Robbins for Louisville. Scramble here for the Cards, and a chance here for Stanford with Minor sending it to Francis. Sammy Francis is healthy, and she has been playing at an elite level, had a season-high 17 kills against Florida 2 nights ago.
Sammy Francis is lethal. When Stanford could get her going, it is almost game over for the other side. The biggest focus for Louisville tonight is neutralizing that middle attack.
Another good serve from Harvey, overpass, and Francis, easy pickings, and what a start here for Stanford. They're on a 5-0 run.
This is exactly what tough serving gets you. Stanford serves lights out all match. Normally those errors pile up, but they don't care. They're going to serve for the fences.
Harvey started this service run with her team-high 44th ace of the year, and Francis picking up where she left off against Florida on Thursday night, and an early timeout called by Louisville. What a start by Stanford, and their senior from San Diego, Sammy Francis, leading the way, up by 5. It's at 2 blocks so far for senior Sammy Francis.
She has been phenomenal this entire season, and a look back at her career here at Stanford, she hasn't been healthy any year except her senior season in this one. Her freshman year, she was out. Sophomore year, she was out for a little bit. Last year as well, this is her first full season at full health, and we are seeing it play out in the numbers. .410 hit percentage so far this season, and 1.5 blocks per set.
Early in her career, she moved from outside hitter to middle blocker. 6'6", is fit in that position, but we've said her name for a while, but we're finally seeing her complete game. Louisville takes a timeout. They end the run and get a Cards point.
That's a massive answer right out of the gates for Louisville, nailing that pass. That was something they hadn't had so far to start this. Big for Anna DeVere to step up in that moment and put their setter right on the money.
Pegron Kong, one of those seniors who graduated last night. One of the reasons why we're here, the KFC Yum Center, busy this weekend, including hosting fall commencement when PK got her diploma. Oh, guess who? Sammy Francis is just locked in. Again, her numbers against Florida, 17 kills, hit .417, and had 4 blocks in that win against the Gritty Gators.
I mean, she has taken her game to another level in the time when Stanford needs it most. You want to be playing your best ball at the end of December. Francis is doing exactly that.
Now Stanford's best player back to serve. That's Elia Rubin. Cabello to Looper. Now, if you haven't been following Louisville volleyball this season, they've been running a 6-2, so you're going to hear about 2 setters today. Ellie Glock, who got the start, and the freshman of the year in the ACC, Nialise Cabello.
Not 6-2. You always have your setter in the back row, 3 attackers up front. That provides a bigger block and an extra attack for Stanford to worry about.
Paul Kirk, who's been playing great, young player, sent back to Francis. And a touch is not called. Stanford thought there was a touch. Kevin Hambley's going to go to the card. And we'll have our first challenge of the match.
Stanford is challenging that there was a touch on the block. The original call was no touch.
The voice of Michael O'Connor working with Michelle Prater here today. So if you're unfamiliar with the challenge rules for college volleyball, you're given 2 a match. If you're successful, you keep your challenge. If you're unsuccessful, you lose it. If we get to a 5th set, teams are awarded 1 challenge. No more than 2 allowed to either team in the course of the match. All right, let's take a look at what they're looking at right now. Was there a touch? De Beer and Kong were the challengers at the net.
Seeing it live and from this angle, I think it's a little bit tough to tell. Normally you're looking for a finger bent backward or change of direction of the ball.
Is it maybe the right hand of Kong? No, I don't know.
Now, in order to overturn or confirm a challenge, you have to have conclusive evidence, meaning you have to see 100% one way or the other. Unsure whether we see that now.
Guys, one of my favorite ways to see if this is a touch or not is to watch it in backwards in slow motion, because you'll see some real funky movement that way, and you'll know if there's actually a touch or not.
Reversed touch, middle blocker. Stanford retains their challenge.
Michael O'Connor saw some of that funky movement that you pointed out, Key. So successful challenge for Stanford. They're left with 2 challenges, and the point goes to the Cardinal, which means it's another kill for Sammy Francis. 3 kills and 2 blocks. Coco Kirsch coming on to serve. Redshirt freshman who had 7 serves against Florida. That was a victory in 4 sets against the 6th seed in Louisville Regional. 3 of the 4 sets went to extra points. 5 Stanford players had double-figure kills, and the defense outstanding for this very physical, athletic team that has gotten so much better on the block throughout the course of the season.
Oh, during the beginning of the year, Kevin Hambley told us, our block is atrocious. He couldn't even look at it. It was so bad. They've made such a massive improvement during conference play, having time to focus on it, and having some of those young players just get more comfortable with the speed of offenses.
Good serve that ran up on Looper. Here's De Beer. Handled by Kirsch. Back row attack. Rubin. Stanford clicking here in set 1, up 7.
Stanford is absolutely locked in right now on both sides of the ball. They're doing a really nice job in transition, giving Cami Minor the ball in positions where she has all options on attack.
Stanford is 3rd in Division I in hitting percentage, .321. This is an offense that can really hum, and it's humming right now. And a touch called on Stanford, so a kill for Anna De Beer. That's her first of the match.
When Louisville gets down in holes, expect them to set Anna De Beer nearly every single ball. She is the player that the Cardinals rely on in those kind of moments.
Her history with Stanford is a little star-crossed. Back in 2022, she suffered a knee injury against Stanford, missed 12 matches, returned for the Louisville Regional, and was the most outstanding player in that Louisville Regional. Had 17 kills against Oregon, including a combined 12 in the 4th and 5th sets. Big-time player who's always made big-time plays in the big moments. We saw that against Northern Iowa in round 2. That's up. Maybe not. Now we hear a whistle. It's going to be a point for Louisville. Played on for a moment. I don't think there's going to be any protest this time from Stanford, so it's a point for the Cards.
There's that up. Ogilvy trying to get under it. Attempted up. Just missing by a little bit. Good call.
On the slide, Lizzie Andrew. And a good off-speed shot by De Beer for the Louisville point.
Much better job in transition for Louisville, getting a touch on that slide attack. Sammy Francis for them was lighting it up for Stanford. Louisville made a good adjustment against Andrew on the slide this time around to transition it.
Camden Schran on the serve. That's tight at the net. And you know what Cami Minor will do with it.
As a defense, you have to know where Cami Minor is at all times. She knows exactly when to go up and take it over based on what the defense is giving her. And if you give her an open net, she's winning that matchup.
Senior from Redondo Beach, back to serve. It's a good serve. Overpass and the kill by Lizzie Andrew, who had a career high 10 kills, hit 600 against Florida. Kevin Hambley said, simply put, her best match of her career.
Emily and Eric, you talked a little bit about Cammie being part of the offense, and yesterday we saw at training that Dan Meske puts up all of the attackers and their attacking tendencies. Usually it's just attackers, but for Stanford, he also added Cammie Minor to that lineup.
Making setters everywhere, pretty happy. That's Kurt digging it up. Minor looks to the back row. Cabello to Cressy for the kill. Kara Cressy having another strong year, second team all-conference in the ACC again. She's 9th in the country in blocks percent. Gets a kill here for Louisville.
Kara Cressy works so hard. It is so difficult to go up on the block, come down, get off the net, and transition that into a good kill. She's working hard to do it.
Maldonado Diaz with the serve. The dig by Elena Scott. And it's going to be a point for Stanford. Net violation called on Louisville. Danny Busboom-Kelly looking for an explanation.
And that's such a tough break because that was a fantastic up from Elena Scott in the backcourt in a one-on-one.
So here's Ipar Kurtz, the redshirt freshman from Istanbul, who's hitting .431 in the NCAA tournament.
With a nasty serve.
Couldn't dial it in. And Em just talked about it a few minutes ago. This is a Stanford team that is high risk, high reward. 371 service errors on the season. That's 178 more total than their opponents.
And Kevin Hambley says we do not care about service errors. We could rack up 22, 23, 24. They win matches with those numbers, which is crazy to think about, but he does not care because he thinks their tough serving wins them matches more.
Rubin tries to pick the spots. Missed the mark, and it's going to be a point for Louisville. I think Kevin Hambley's going to go to the card again. Rubin right away indicated that she thought it was going to be point Stanford, that there was a touch. So Hambley 1 for 1 on challenges. He'll try again here in set 1 on top by 4.
Stanford is challenging. There was a touch on the block. The original call, no touch.
It was right in front of us. I didn't see it, but I defer to Elia Rubin, who's an All-American in her eyesight.
Again, normally on touches, looking for that finger bent backwards. Based on this look, it doesn't look like we see any finger bent back from Reese Robbins.
I feel like we should bring in Key, who's our touch at the net expert. Key, what do you got?
I'm the unofficial expert at this, but I love that we're getting that second look. And just to explain what I mean is, if you see something that physically is unnatural in slow motion backwards, you see it way better. So I think what we're seeing here is two great looks from our camera crew, that you're not seeing anything weird. I'm saying no touch.
I agree. That looks clear over Reese Robbins.
Key, just be sure to add replay analyst to your resume. I mean, it's just another
Jack of all trades,
yes.
Right? Master of nothing.
Join the Jack of all trades, master of none. The president of that club. Taking a long look here. The R2 is handling the replays here in the NCAA tournament. So that's O'Connor going back through the different angles that we just showed you. If Key and M are right, it's going to be an unsuccessful challenge for Stanford, leaving them with 1 for a while.
That's going to be tough to burn a challenge this early in the match. It's still only halfway through set 1. He only has 1 more up until the point where we potentially would go to 5 sets.
It's taken a while, but we got the announcement.
On the floor is confirmed, no touch. Stanford will lose their challenge.
I think Louisville's looking for anything that can turn the momentum here in set 1. And if it's an unsuccessful challenge by Stanford, leaving them with 1 for a while, you'll take it. Here's Anna DeBeer. Jordan Harvey, another one who's played so well, had 10 kills and 10 digs in the win against Florida. Her career high in kills came against Louisville in the regular season finale, a 4-set win for Stanford.
Jordan Harvey's been so impressive. I think back to the first matchup with Louisville, 4 kills at 125. The next time around, 18 kills at over 300. That just shows her improvement.
Looper, off hands, point Louisville.
Better job of Louisville's outsides, finding ways to score, maybe in not perfect situations. Good tempo on this ball, has a double block though. She still finds a way to score because Looper can get up there.
Scott serving for the Cards. Minor goes to Rubin. Kong and Robbins teaming up at the net. That one goes long, and it's a point for Louisville. Remember, they trailed 10-3. Now they're down by 3. Coolly and calmly finds a spot, and she'll head back to serve.
The game plan for Stanford is very clear. Send everything to the right side of the court. It's Charity Looper up front, who just stands at 5'9". Definitely a shorter block than what Stanford's used to seeing, and they're exploiting it.
Ellie Glock sends it back to the right side. Robbins and the block. Sammy Francis there with Rubin.
Fantastic finish from Elia Rubin, diving into this play, identifying her middle was just a little bit late to that one, and tuck those hands inside. Watch this finish from Rubin's hands. Shows the seam and then takes that away.
And an ace. Second ace of the night for Harvey. Second timeout of the set called by Louisville. So after the Cards brought it back to 3. Stanford now on a 3-0 run, forcing the timeout. Well, there's been a lot of players who have contributed to the Cardinals' success this year. We've talked about the veterans, but some young players doing a great job as well, and that includes Ipar Kurt. Key.
Ipar Kurt attended the best academic high school in Turkey, and she played at the same time for the best volleyball team, that's Fenerbahce, and her roommate for away trips was none other than USA Olympic gold medalist Kelsey Robinson Cook. So Kelsey told me Ipar was like a little sister to her. They would braid each other's hair, and Kelsey would help her answer all questions about college life, and Ipar knew if she wanted to combine the highest level of academics and the highest level of volleyball, it was pretty much Stanford or nothing. And Coach Hambly had to travel all the way to Istanbul, not only to taste Ipar's favorite food, dolma, but also to reassure her family that she'd be in good hands. Ipar's mom was so excited to send her off to the land of endless opportunities for women, and Ipar said she couldn't imagine a better second home and second dad than Kevin Hambly.
I mean, that just speaks to what kind of a person Kevin Hambly is. For a family to trust their daughter headed to a new country into a program that they don't know too much about really shows how good of a person Kevin Hambly is and how much trust that they had in him.
Well, we say hello to Ipar's family because we've been told they try never to miss a match. So if you're watching at 3:53 a.m. in Istanbul, good morning.
Or good night.
Ipar on the sidelines right now. She was really good in conference play, averaged nearly 3.5 kills a set, hit .335. Second team all-conference selection in the ACC. Jordan Harvey's been outstanding serving, but gets iced during the timeouts and sends up the service error.
The biggest difference in this match so far has been the serve and pass battle. Right now, Louisville's been only in system at a 41% clip. That is way too low compared to Stanford, who's at 82%. Normally the goal's about 60, so you see the discrepancy between the two teams.
Stanford a big advantage when it comes to blocks as well. 4-1 for the Cardinals at the moment. Francis trying to get it over, but didn't have much to work with, and Louisville gets the block and the point.
Big play in this moment from Charity Looper, identifying the tip, hanging up there just a little bit longer to push it down.
Looper had 13 kills against Purdue, hit .571. As a team, Louisville hit .467 in the sweep. That's a season high in an NCAA tournament third-round match, by the way. Rubin Scott couldn't handle that one. You don't say that too often about the libero for Louisville, Elena Scott.
Stanford's just hitting to spots that have been really difficult to defend. Even if they have a double block up front, the attackers are doing a nice job of placing their shots.
Stanford hitting 280 as Rubin serves. Cabello, back row attack. It's in. DeBeer.
How about that shot placement? Anna DeBeer flying through the backcourt. When she's going through the back row, she has even better court vision to see where the block's set up, see the defense, and just put this ball right in the back corner. That's a veteran swing.
Park. Kurt gets her first kill tonight.
And Stanford's passing is just lights out right now. They are handling every single ball, putting it right on the money. This stresses out a defense because you basically can't close up those kind of blocks when you have all options on attack. Louisville has to do a better job of knocking Stanford out of system.
It's interesting, too. The passing's been so great. That takes some of the pressure off the center, Cami Minor. And it turns out Kevin Hambley was talking about she was feeling the pressure a little bit in the third-round match, which you wouldn't expect from a senior, but was nervous in that first set. When you're playing this well and passing this well, it just kind of calms everybody down, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially first setter. You don't have to go on the move as much. You can kind of know, okay, my serve receive is locked in. I'm right in the pocket. All I have to do is get my hitters a good ball.
And Cami Minor knows how to do that. Yeah. 1915, Louisville with the serve. And here is Minor. Got a lot on it, and Schramm couldn't handle it, and Stanford's the first team to 20 here in the first set.
That's such a high IQ play from the redshirt freshman, knowing she has a double block because the swing was out of system, meaning the libero was taking it, so she swung high at hands to go right off of it.
Kurt didn't have any kills on her first three swings. She had an attack error, but she's connected on her last two swings, helping Stanford to hit 321 here in the first set. DeBeer. Pretty, picture perfect work by Louisville on the offense.
That's what happens when Louisville's in system. Beautiful handle by Looper, forces tempo outside. DeBeer has all options, just ripping that line shot.
Maldonado Diaz serves it to Ogilvy. Back set, Kurt. Oh, great save by guess who? Scott kept it up. Cards in the point for the moment. Looper lays out to save it. Cards still in the point. Not anymore. Jordan Harvey, two great saves by Louisville, but Stanford in control here in set one.
What a chase down by Charity Looper, pumping those arms, getting all the way after it. A good reach out to bring this ball not only up, but back into the court. And Stanford puts it down off the free ball. A little extra breather after that one.
Got time being called here. Looper grabbing that left elbow when she laid out. Perhaps a little blood, little cut, giving her a chance to get taped up here for the moment. 21-16 Stanford. They led 10-3. Louisville pushed back, got within 3, but Stanford right now on top by 5.
I feel like that rally was the perfect example of what's been going on in this first set. Stanford was just in control, taking free ball after free ball. Louisville's trying to defend it, but it's really difficult when Stanford's in system like that.
Yeah, so they're cleaning up the jersey of Charity Looper. Kelsey Pennebaker is the athletic trainer, taking our boxing theme one step farther. Got a good cut woman in the corner for Louisville here tonight, apparently, because Charity's ready to go. So Anna Pringle will head back to serve now for Stanford. Junior from La Jolla, working with a 5-point lead here in set one. Serves it right to Looper. DeBeer, Ogilvy, straight up. Blocked back by Robbins and Cressy. Rubin, Robbins and Cressy block again. Minor back set, Harvey again. Picked off the net by Andrew. Block for De Beer. That's long. Was there a touch? No touch. Danny Busboom Kelly grabs the card, and a quick challenge here from the Louisville head coach. Louisville thinks it was touched by Stanford. So once again, Michael O'Connor will go back to the monitor, but first he'll go to the mic.
Louisville challenging call on the floor, challenging for a touch. The original call, no touch.
So the first challenge of the night for the Cardinals.
Question of whether there was another finger bent back and a lot of touch challenges tonight.
Yeah, that one we have got the fingers up against the scoreboard a little bit, trying to find a little contrast there. Now from the corner.
Looking for a finger bent backwards, change of direction on the ball.
Then the net angle is going to be from the opposite end, so it's going to be a long way to look because it's all the way down.
Based on these looks that we're seeing, it doesn't seem like there's conclusive evidence either way. You have to be 100% certain to confirm or reverse that call.
So once again, the call on the court, no touch. Did we see enough there for reversal and give the point to Louisville, or will the score remain at 22-16? And once again, these touch, no touch reviews, as you saw, they can take a long time. You're trying to go frame by frame. You're trying to blow it up a little bit, trying to look at multiple angles to see if you find anything conclusive.
All right, we don't have any conclusive evidence here, but what is conclusive is that Kevin Hambley trusts my unofficial opinion. All of a sudden, I think my resume must have got to him, because every time there's a touch, he comes over and asks me, Key, what do you think? he said this time my answer was better than last time.
News travels pretty quickly, Key.
I said no touch on this one.
I mean, he's just cool, calm, and collected all the time.
It's interesting, he talked about this team early in the season. He said we won, but he didn't think they were very good. That showed against Louisville in the loss.
Call on the floor is going to be a reverse touch off the block. Louisville point. They retain the challenge.
That's a massive swing. Now Louisville just down 4 points rather than 6 points, cracking that door open just a little bit more late in this first set.
So it's 21-17. Miner will go back to Harvey again. No touch here, point Louisville.
Jordan Harvey really trying to go for that line shot. That was something Louisville's been keyed in on. Take the line away, force Harvey to hit around it. That time around it is out of bounds.
So that successful challenge is big, because now it's a 3-point first set and a timeout called by Stanford to try to slow things down here in what is suddenly a loud Freedom Hall in Louisville. Key.
Well, it's going to be loud for a little bit longer, because Anna De Beer is still a huge fan favorite at Louisville. At 12 years old, she stepped into the volleyball gym for the first time, mainly to do some cartwheels. She was a gymnast then, but it wasn't long until she was a huge Louisville volleyball super fan. Now, flash forward to college signing day. De Beer, one of the top recruits in the country, surprised her coach with balloons in one hand and an I Love Louisville sign in the other. Her coach, Busboom Kelly, told us De Beer sets the tone for their team on court and can will the team to win with her mental toughness. But perhaps Anna's biggest contribution is actually in the locker room. She got a clean sweep of captain votes. She's the first to prank the coach with a fake sleepover, or the freshman with a loyalty pledge. On and off court, Anna De Beer completely embodies the spirit of the red and black, and they're going to need a lot of that spirit if they want to get some wins here tonight.
Well, first of all, the photos of young Anna, adorable.
So cute.
And it's been great for her folks, Jeff and Sarah, just to be here, going from watching matches at Assumption, where Anna was a standout in high school, and just continuing it here in their hometown of Louisville, and hoping it also goes, brother and sister here as well, to catch matches, hoping it continues on to playing for a chance in the national championship in downtown Louisville.
This is the reason why Anna DeBeer came back this season. She wanted to play for a title in her hometown with a program that she grew up loving and eventually came through, and she's going to go down as one of the all-time greats in Louisville history.
Freshman of the year in the ACC, first team all-conference, starting from that very first season 5 seasons ago. DeBeer with a service error, so good timeout called by Stanford. They needed to regroup, slow things down, quiet the building down, and cool off Anna DeBeer at the service line. His first service error for Louisville tonight. Here is Ogilvy. Block to Looper. Reese Robbins with the point. First kill for Robbins, a sophomore from Mansfield, Texas, who had 7 kills on 10 swings against Purdue.
Louisville's front line has done a much better job taking control on these 50-50 plays. When the ball is right on the top of the tape, they are being so aggressive.
Rubin hammers it down. A point Stanford.
Elliot Rubin's court vision is second to none. She sees exactly where those hands are, and watch, she can find any seam right in the block, this time right down the line.
Stanford 2 points away from taking set 1, and Harvey's been great with the serve so far. Handled by Louisville. And the block. Set point for Stanford.
And what a read in one of the biggest moments. Sammy Francis stepping in, a really tough read, but reaches those hands over to get it done.
8 points for Stanford here in this first set have come when Jordan Harvey's been on the service line, trying to put it away here in set 1. Louisville still alive. Nylise Cabello will head back to serve. She had 3 aces against Purdue. Louisville could really use a service run right here. Try to get back in this first set. Ogilvy trying to keep it up, could not. It is a point for Louisville. Cards aren't done yet.
The freshman coming up clutch on the end line, putting in a bullet of a serve right in the perfect spot between the passers to force the overpass.
Set point number 3. Minor, Rubin. Back row attack by DeBeer. That's out of play, and another point for the Cardinals, and the crowd gets a little louder. Timeout Stanford.
All of a sudden, Louisville staying alive in these big moments. Everyone knows who's getting the ball. It is Anna DeBeer time and time again, and she is going to give everything she's got to not let that set win.
Stanford will use their final timeout. Now within 2, they have fought off 3 set points, have Louisville. So let's see if this momentum can build. We saw how Anna DeBeer was very active in the huddle against UNI. When Louisville had their backs against the wall, they fought off 3 match points against UNI and ended up winning in that 5th set, 22-20. DeBeer was emotional. She was the one taking charge in that huddle. Emotional after the match with the tears after surviving.
And Anna DeBeer is normally not a player that you say in the same sentence as emotional. Normally very stoic. You don't see a ton of emotion out of her. But during that second round matchup against UNI, she had to will her team to victory. In that 5th set alone, she put up 6 kills in just that set. And Dan Meskey, their assistant coach on Louisville's side, said, I had never seen her get that emotional, both in the huddle throughout the match and also after. She willed this team to win.
That's Meskey, the assistant, with the grease board, drawing up the play in the huddle here for Louisville. Coming out of this timeout, 24-22, 3-0 run for the Cardinals.
On Stanford side, this is actually really good rotation for them. Cami Minor's front row and Sammy Francis, meaning that slide attack on a good pass is a really good option.
Set point number 4 for the Cardinal. Here is Minor. Francis. Point, Stanford. Set 1 goes to Stanford. Had to hold their breath a little bit there at the end, but in the end, that early burst in the first set made the difference. They jumped out to a 10-3 lead. Louisville chipped away a couple of times, but Sammy Francis was great in that first set. 5 kills and 4 blocks for the senior. In the best of 5, set 1 goes to Stanford. Set 2 is next. So 2 more coming tomorrow. Pitt beating Kentucky earlier today to punch the first ticket here to Louisville in the national semifinal coming up on Thursday. First point of the second set goes to Stanford thanks to a service error for Louisville.
The biggest thing Louisville needs to do a better job of in this set is taking control of the serve and pass game. They need to do a better job passing and serve tougher to knock Stanford out of system.
Cooper had a little trouble. Serve receive there. Ogilvy defensive, sent it out of play. And it's a point for Louisville.
Well, Eric, I was in the timeout there with Louisville in between sets, and one of the main topics of conversation was actually defense, staying a little bit deeper, maybe being a little bit stopped when the other team is serving, but it's no surprise that Anna DeBeer was put back in first to serve. Coach has a lot of faith in her.
Ruben misses the mark, and the Cards have their first lead since it was 1-0, just their second lead of this match, because that 6-0 run was huge at the very start of set number 1 for Stanford. And service error for Louisville, another one for them here in the set. So let's take a look at some of the numbers from set 1, hitting percentage 250 to 222, and throw in there 2 aces and 5 blocks for Stanford.
Stanford serve took control. Normally that serve works well with that block, as they send that one out of bounds. But when you're serving tough, that knocks the opponent out of system. When a team is out of system, you pretty much know it's going to the outside, so the block can sit and wait on it, and that's where Stanford was racking them up.
Cabello to serve. Minor looks for the center dump and gets it.
Louisville has got to serve tougher. They're going after Anna Pringle, who over the last 3 weeks of the season has been Stanford's best passer. They either need to get it better in a seam or go after a different target, because that is not working right now.
Once again, they target Looper on the serve. Minor for Kurt. Picked up by the Cards. And the kill. Sofia Maldonado-Diaz gets her first kill tonight.
Really good out-of-system play from Elena Scott, the libero on Louisville's side, putting her hitter in the perfect situation to get a kill out of system.
Maldonado-Diaz finally with a little smile. And a slow start for her tonight. Looper. Ruben calls for it, gets there, and Minor will bump it over. DeBeer. Great save by Ruben. Kurt. Minor sets it for Kurt. Ruben. Right side, Maldonado-Diaz with the kill.
In these kind of matchups, outlasting your opponent defensively is so important. Can you stay in these rallies longer than your opponent and get out of tough situations?
Maldonado-Diaz went well under the net, but that's not an automatic call as long as there's no risk of injury to someone on the other side. That's what Kevin Hambley was protesting about for a brief moment. Oh, the block. Kong Maldonado Diaz on the right side. So the right side coming to life here for Louisville.
All of a sudden, Louisville's block coming to life. That is exactly what they need, especially against Stanford's outsides.
Looper off the tape. Sammy Francis. Ogilvy's got it. Kong, they work the middle again.
Louisville's got all the rhythm right now, doing a much better job in these transition moments. PK going off. Beautiful swing. Louisville now finds themselves up in this match.
Redemption year.
Thank you, Keith. Closed out that year very strong, getting Louisville to the national semifinal. The block has just been stellar here for Louisville. This is the team that's #2 in the country by a fraction to Wisconsin in blocking, and they've got 4 blocks in this set.
This is what a 6'2 provides you. You got big bodies up front at all time, and Pedram Khan is taking over right now in the middle.
5-0 run, 4-0 the blocks here in set 2 in favor of Louisville, and Kurt is off the mark.
This is what a big block does. It stresses out an offense because you want to swing higher and higher. That time, a little bit too high causes it to go out of bounds because of the stress that the block is putting on them.
Minor looks for another dunk. Louisville had it. And off the block, it's a point for Louisville. 7-0 run for the Cards.
Louisville has come out with a completely different fire here in the second set. They're executing at a higher level on the little plays, which has been the difference.
Is it just the execution level, or are they doing something different tactically that you're noticing here? The block has been outstanding, and it was non-existent in set 1.
They look a lot more calm in their movements, not trying to guess and read a little bit too much.
A little bit of a scramble right there, but they're still in it. And they got another block. De Beer. Pedram Kong speaks for the crowd here when she put her hands on her head.
I mean, check out this save to keep that ball alive. Elena Scott coming up clutch. Then it's the front court defense. Anna De Beer putting it down. Come on.
Kong and De Beer will share the block. Great save, and all smiles here in the second set. Well, this Louisville program under Danny Busboom Kelly has taken off like a rocket ship because they have just put together great season after great season. Did somebody say rocket ship? 3, 2, 1. I was trying to time something out, but we had to just put a hold on the countdown at Mission Control, but the flight director tells me we're ready for liftoff. We spent good money on this animation right here. I want to see it, but you can see what they've done through the years, now in her 8th season as Louisville's head coach, and year after year, as I said, they are in the mix for a national championship. They haven't gotten that national championship yet. They've played for a national championship, but when you look at this program, what stands out to you about how they built this program and how they play?
The biggest thing is that Danny Busboom Kelly has developed a lot of these players. You take a player like Anna De Beer, she has built her as a player coming through this program. She is such a good developer. She teaches fundamentals, brings kids in, lets them play, develops them up until the end of her career. That doesn't happen unless you're a phenomenal head coach, and she has done an incredible job. You see that 2021 ABCA Coach of the Year. I think every year since she's been at the helm, she's been in the running for that with how good she's been and how successful Louisville's been, especially as of late.
Of course, she won a national championship with Nebraska as a player back in 2006. She does it this year. It will be in Louisville. Out of the timeout, a kill for Stanford. That ends the 8-0 run for Louisville. During that 8-0 run, Pedram Kong had a kill and 3 blocks. And Maldonado Diaz getting going with 3 kills and a block. It fly.
Well, Danny Busboom-Kelly had been tinkering with that second middle position, going between Pedrincon and Hannah Sherman. She likes Pedrincon because of how good PK is offensively. She does such a good job of tracking that ball, and you're seeing that play out tonight.
Last year in the regional final against Pitt, 5-setter reverse sweep for Pittsburgh, she had a team-high 13 kills and hit 600 and added 8 blocks, so she steps up in those big moments. Great save by Rubin to keep it alive for Stanford. And again, Louisville at the net. A much different team, more like the Louisville team that we've seen throughout the season.
This is the block that we've seen from the Cardinals from day one up until now. They are doing a phenomenal job doing that in the biggest moment. Stanford, though, has to make that kind of adjustment. They need to swing higher, not down into it.
Miner pulls it off the net. Kurt pokes it over. Now DeBeer. Back row attack from Looper. Off the mark. Point Stanford.
This is a point for Stanford where you just have to chip away at that lead. Don't look at the score. Just focus on the next play ahead and what you have to do. Play for Kara Cressy. If this ball is straight up in front of you as an attacker, it's beautiful. Go up and take a swing at it.
5 kills from the middles from Louisville in this match. Remember, Sammy Francis was the standout middle blocker in the first set for Stanford. She had 5 kills. No kills in the second set, though, for Francis. Harvey off hands, drops in, point Stanford.
That's a much better adjustment for Stanford, swinging higher at it, even out of system. Harvey knows she has 2 big blockers in front. She didn't go right down into it. Harvey went up and on top of it, over.
And a Pringle will come on to serve for Stanford. Stanford took set 1, 25-22. They're falling behind 1-0. They took the lead and never trailed again. But it's been all Louisville here in set 2. Kara Cressy with another kill.
The passing is much improved on Louisville's side as well. That allows that middle to be ran.
DeBeer back to serve. Miner to the freshman, Lizzie Andrew. Middle kill for Stanford.
Miner's been getting those middles going a lot behind, so really smart decision. Keep them in front. Don't use that cross pattern. Beautiful put down by Andrew.
Sammy Francis comes back in for Stanford. Ogilvy with the serve. Set back to Reese Robbins. How important is it for Louisville to get their right side going? We know all about Looper. We know all about DeBeer, but what is it about the right side that's the difference maker for Louisville?
Well, the right side for Louisville can be the X factor because you know Looper and DeBeer are going to go off. So if you get that right side production, it adds that extra layer for the block to worry about.
We're seeing that from Maldonado Diaz. She's got 3 kills all in the second set. Laying out is Scott. She can't get there. It's a point for Stanford.
It's one thing to be in the right position to take some of these, but the power that these athletes bring is another thing to try to control it.
Jordan Harvey. Block for Looper. Chance here for Miner. She'll go back to Francis. Back row attack to Beer. Off hands, point Louisville.
DeBeer has been outstanding on this back row attack, seeing where the block is and using it to her advantage, going right off the fingertips.
DeBeer with 7 kills, 1 attack error, hitting .353. As a team, Louisville is hitting .474 in this second set. Stanford is sub-0 hitting in set 2. Rubin missed the mark. Another error for Stanford. That is 7 attack errors here in this second set.
And that happens when you got a good block on the other side. It forces attackers to try to change their game plan.
Volleyball's so funny. Stanford was in control in that first set. Louisville pushed back late in the set, and sometimes that's what you need. You do a few positive things late, and that's the spark you need for set 2, and this has been all Louisville here in the second set. Looper, nope, that's off the mark. No touch, point Stanford.
When that's a miss that you're okay with. I mean, how high Looper's flying up, barely missing that just by an inch. It's a beautiful swing.
That's just the second attack error this set for Louisville as a team. They've been pretty clean. You hit 400, you're hitting pretty clean. Good serve by Ruben. Maldonado Diaz off hands, point Louisville.
Every adjustment that Louisville needed to make, they made during the second set. They're passing lights out. The attackers are doing a much better job seeing where Stanford's block is and going around it.
Kept up, beautifully done by the freshman, and it's a point for Louisville. Cabello kept it in the air, and Louisville turned it into a point.
Nothing gets your team going like a pancake to a kill. Beautiful play on Louisville's side. Nilese Cabello flying in for that one.
Elena Scott, self-preservation. Ipar Kirk gets the kill. Taylor, you will come on to serve for the Cardinal. Freshman serve specialist. He's got a good aggressive serve. Serves it to Looper. Here's DeBeer. Scott kept it up. Sent it over.
What a knob in the backcourt. Elena Scott is such a good libero. When she's not taking the ball, she is always in covering her attackers. That play does not happen without her coverage.
Captain Schramm with the serve. Good one. Ruben had to save it. Kurt has it blocked back. Ogilvy, great save to put it back over the net. And then Maldonado Diaz misses the mark. Point Stanford.
A good run on Louisville's side. They're really controlling the pace of play. Even when they're in tough situations, the setters are really forcing that tempo. So Stanford can't have time to get set and then go out.
Tammy Minor back to serve for Stanford. Winners of 12 in a row. Their last loss was November 1st at Miami. Overpass. Ruben rolls it over. Minor goes a long way to Kurtz. DeBeer with the left hand. Point for Louisville.
I mean, how does she do it? That ball not even intended for Anna DeBeer, trying to go to the middle. She just gets that left hand up in time. Watch this connection. This set's intended for Kara Cressy. DeBeer's just in the right spot at the right time.
Great adjustment by Anna DeBeer. She's had more velocity on her kills tonight than that one, but it counts the same. Number 9. DeBeer will put a little something on this one and would like to have that one back. Put on a platter for her, but just couldn't find the court. And it'll be a point for Stanford.
Sometimes as an attacker, you just get so excited, you kind of overrun that play. Just got to flush that one, let it go.
The ball, it's as big as a beach ball, I'm sure, in that split second, but then it floats on you like a beach ball. Still a comfortable lead here as Kurt serves. DeBeer. Ruben. Oh, great save by Charity Looper. And sent over the net by Ellie Glock. And that one drops down. Feels like Stanford's in the position that Louisville was in the first set, trying to find something to build on late in the set to carry over to the next one.
They're definitely trying, and it's hard when you got ups like that saving plays. I don't even know how she got that high.
She's Charity Looper.
Yeah, it's exactly.
That's going to be a net violation called on Stanford, so a point for Louisville. Kevin Handley's got that look on his face, that resignation, like, okay, let's wrap this up and then hit the reset button during that extra time you have between set 2 and set 3. Good job by Miner to keep it alive. Pringle off the net, sent out of play, and it is set point for Louisville.
Louisville just taking full control from the start of this one. Stanford all out of sorts. Serve certainly hasn't been effective tonight. She's missed a few too many. Trying to go for it, but the net ones you can't have.
3 service errors for De Beer, 4 for the team. Set point number 2 for Louisville. Ogilvy serves. Block for Looper. Never a doubt in set 2 for Louisville. They win it 25-14, and they hit 382 in set 2.
The defense was clicking, offense was absolutely clicking. Louisville found ways to turn it around. That is exactly why this sport is fun, because it doesn't matter what happens in set 1, you completely turn around and take full control the next set.
And we know Stanford has that mindset of a tough serve. Can they make it tough on Louisville? We'll find out here. The first serve of set 3 in the best of 5 belongs to Ogilvy for Stanford. She goes with the short floats. So a chance here for Stanford after an effective serve to get the first points. But that's what Louisville did so well in the second set. They outblocked Stanford 4-0 in set 2.
When a team is blocking you left and right, you have to make some kind of adjustment on your side, whether it's swinging higher at hands or everyone in coverage has to be locked in, all other 5 players that aren't attacking.
Rubin. It's been a slow go for Elliot Rubin. First team all-conference selection. He's leading the team in kills per set.
That was a perfect adjustment, not going right down into the block, but using those hands, going over it.
Rubin with 3 kills in the first 2 sets. And 3 errors on 16 swings. That's hand. Looper knew it.
And how about that swing? Barely got that ball off the court and serve receive. Gets that ball right back from the ground. Flies up there to get the kill. Come on. It's almost unfair what she's able to do.
Just great athleticism. You are receiving the pass. You're down, but you're not out of play. And you spring up like that to get a kill like that. That is awesome.
Chef's kiss.
Cameo. Maldonado Diaz.
Great court vision for Maldonado Diaz, seeing the block in front of her. A big seam for her to hit through, just following that hand right through it.
Jamie Busman-Kelly thought her setters played so well in that win against Purdue. Of course, you know, when you hit a number like they did, 467, the setters are doing something right, but just feels like the 2 centers here, as De Beer can't get that one, are really spreading the wealth. That's something we talk about with Candy Miner, spreading it out for Stanford. It's the vibe in that second set going on to the third here for Louisville.
Being able to spread it out and making that offense unpredictable, that relies on the pass. When Louisville's in system, they are scary tough. We saw it in that sweep against Purdue. You mentioned it, hitting over 450. When the pass is good, that's what this offense is able to do.
Looper thought about it, but thought better of it. Doesn't dive over the table to try to save it. And it's an ace for Stanford. It starts with the tough, aggressive serve for Stanford.
A much better job during this third set, putting more pressure on Louisville's serve receive.
Too aggressive. Rubin misses the mark. That's service error number 6 for the Cardinal.
With that tough serving, normally you're going to rack up those service errors. Again, that is something that Kevin Hamley does not care about. He is okay with as many service errors as it takes to knock the other team out of system.
Francis a little out of sync with Minor. Maldonado Diaz. Dug out by Harvey. Kurt, save made by Scott. On the slide, Francis misses the mark. Give Elena Scott the star on that play. Great save to keep the point going for Louisville.
Elena Scott is so good as a bro. You might think the ball is down, and all of a sudden she flies through to keep it alive.
Just for the record, Emily was a standout bro for Northwestern, so she's going to give love to the liberos on the court.
Justice for the liberos. Stay with me, Eric.
Ipar Kurtz hasn't been able to really let loose so far in this match. That is her 5th kill of the match.
Well, Ipar Kurt can be a complete game changer. We saw what she did against Florida the other night. 17 kills, hit 353. A phenomenal performance, and she's been doing that all tournament long.
Cabello, Maldonado Diaz. Minor sets it back to Kurt. Minor to Kurt, denied by Maldonado Diaz.
A little bit of sass with there. We love to see that. That's the type of excitement that you want to see on plays like this. A solo stuff, come on.
I'm loving Kong's reaction. She just stands there and just,
It's disbelief.
She had her hands on her head earlier. That's like, everyone's getting on the block party right now for Louisville. Again. Ooh. Somehow Stanford got it over. DeBeer off hands, point, Louisville, up by 3.
Louisville continuing that great transition play that we saw during set 2. Even if there's chaos happening on the card side, they're finding ways out of that and calming the chaos.
4-1 run here for Louisville. Trying to add to it. Cabello, Looper from the back row. Block back, Cressy and DeBeer there. Kurt off hands, Looper got a piece, out of play, point for Stanford.
Stanford's getting a little bit too pin heavy, really relying on those left sides. I'd like to see Kemi Minor get other attackers involved if that pass is there.
Stanford, point for DeBeer and the Cardinals.
And DeBeer has such a high volleyball IQ. It doesn't always have to be that hard kill. Sometimes it's just an easy push right off the block, not making it too hard.
Such a long season. She got off to a slow start. She hit 137 in the first 8 matches. Louisville played tough schedule. That one's going to drop down and kill for Harvey, but DeBeer hit 300 in the rivalry match at Kentucky. That turned the tide, and she's been on a run since then. And again, you're playing your last season, and now you're down to your last matches. Now you're down to your last sets and your last points as a college volleyball player.
It is, even if you're not the hometown kid, it's just a sad feeling as you get deeper and deeper into your career. She came back for this moment to play for a national championship in Louisville. You got to think these matches and every point means just a little bit more to her.
Kurt well off the mark on that serve, so DeBeer will go back to serve. You see Anna's numbers during the victory against Purdue. You go back to the second round, those 19 kills, hit 280 against UNI. Rubin missed it.
That's just a really good example of a disciplined block on Louisville's side. They are forcing Stanford to hit shots that they don't want to hit.
Stanford is hitting 124 for the match. Off the tape, that will bring the number up. But Stanford came in third in Division I at 321 on the attack for the season. That just shows you how things have turned since that first set for Hambly's team. Early block for Reese Robbins, block back and out by Stanford, point for Louisville.
Good idea on that ball from Maurice Robbins, seeing the block really well. That's also a play that Elia Rubin needs to make. If your hands are in the right position, turn that hand back into the court for the stuff.
Rubin, that's in for Elia Rubin. Sixth kill for Rubin.
Really good shot from Rubin. This is the best shot that you can have as an outside attacker. Go to that back corner because you're almost always splitting the left and the middle back defenders.
Trying to get Rubin going. She's got 3 kills in this set. And that one will grab the tape and drop in for an ace.
Jordan Harvey's serve is so tough because not only is it driven back, there's almost no spin on it. So if it catches that net, it just dribbles right over.
Looper, long, thinks there was a touch. Danny Busboom-Kelly grabs the card quickly. And she seems pretty confident about this one. Got the look of someone like, why am I even bothering challenging this? That should have been called a touch.
Louisville challenging the call on the floor. They are challenging a touch. The original call, no touch.
Danny Busboom-Kelly very quick to pull that challenge card. Her team adamant that it was there. Looper definitely swinging high on that ball.
They had a successful challenge late in the first set. Looked like it was perhaps opening the door for Louisville, but in the end, that set was won by Stanford 25-22. Yeah, again, the ones the way down the line, very difficult to tell.
Based on this angle, doesn't look like enough evidence to confirm or reverse it. Again, you have to have conclusive evidence.
Is it the left hand of Lizzie Andrew that we're focusing on, perhaps? Michael O'Connor is looking at all 4 hands up there from Minor and Andrew. Key, do you want another shot at it? Because you had a swing and a miss your last go round. Well, I'm just being honest. Well, she said she wanted tough love and the truth. I'm giving it to her.
Accountability. I like that. Kevin Hambly would agree. I don't see a touch there, to be completely frank, but it's such a difficult angle because, as you said, it's so far away from the camera, but yeah. I didn't see one.
Okay.
Even in real time as well, I didn't think I saw one.
The call on the floor is confirmed, no touch. Louisville will lose their challenge.
Redemption, Key, redemption.
There you go, Key.
Thanks.
So each team with 1 challenge remaining through the end of set 4. If we get to a 5th, each team will receive an additional challenge. A little miscommunication there. Looper saved it though for Louisville. And a miss hit by Stanford gives the point to Louisville.
And those are the plays that you really want to go out swinging. If you're going to make the error, make it an aggressive error.
Cabello will come on to serve. 5 total aces for the freshman in the NCAA tournament. Rubin, yeah, that's what you were talking about. Just take the full rip. Louisville was ready for it. She'll do it again.
Much better swings from Elia Rubin, getting that power going. She is so tough to stop when she's swinging at full speed. Stanford needs her to stay aggressive.
Rubin heads back to serve for Stanford. Cabello, Maldonado Diaz gets another kill. She did not have a kill in that first set, but they have been finding her, and she has been delivering since then.
She's been absolutely outstanding. She's hitting over 350 in this match, doing a really nice job from either pin she's lined up on.
6 kills, 3 digs, 4 blocks. Cooper keeps it up. Cabello to DeBeer. Cabello to Kong. Had to make the adjustment. Rolls down the tape and out of play, and point for Stanford. Brings the Cardinal within 1.
Stanford right back in it, but man, Louisville's defense has really turned it up a notch. Whether it's Elena Scott in the back row, the libero for the Cards, or Charity Looper, she's like having another libero back there with how many balls she's digging.
Taylor Yu comes on to serve for Stanford. Cabello. Khan held up in the air for as long as she could. Now she's set to get everything on that swing.
Great decision from Cabello. That connection a little bit off earlier in the rally goes right back to her, and Khan can absolutely unload on that one.
Block. DeBeer at the net for Louisville. The defense has been outstanding for the Cardinals, up 3 in the third.
Ability all season long. It helps this year that they're in a 6-2 system. They always have a big right side blocker up there rather than giving it up for a shorter setter.
Out of the media timeout, Stanford looking for the point, and they'll get the point. Curd off hands, making it 15-13.
When you're facing a really big block, you have to know that going into this matchup and adjusting your offense accordingly. Swing just a little bit higher and cover just a little bit harder.
Tammy Minor back to serve. Cabello. Block. Kept up by Louisville. Defense continues to be great for the Cards. Looper pulled off the net and over. We play on until now. Maldonado Diaz comes through again. Everyone had a hand in that point on the defensive end for the Cardinals.
Defense wins you big matches. This was a massive moment for Louisville's defense to come up big. They're finding ways to put it down. Maldonado Diaz has been outstanding.
7 kills, hitting .429, and she will head back to serve. Kurtz, point Stanford.
Coming into this match, it was going to be who can bounce back after getting punched. And I think what we're seeing here in set 3 is even though Stanford's been down, Louisville's blocks come alive. They found ways out of it, and they're not backing down.
So the change at center now for Louisville as Ellie Glock will come on. And a Pringle will go back to serve now for Louisville. Stanford took set 1, 25-22. All Louisville in set 2, 25-14. Tight here in this set, and a block for Stanford.
No questions about that one. Elia Rubin coming up clutch. This was something Stanford put a big emphasis on in this rotation where they have a slide attack and a 2-ball, honing in on that slide.
Rubin gets her 3rd block. That is the 7th for Stanford as a team. They've been outblocked 10-7. DeBeer off the nets. Andrew bumps it up. Kept alive and now sent over by Stanford. Block to DeBeer. Good dig by Pringle. Rubin will just send it over. Block tries DeBeer again. Great save by Ogilvy. Reese Robbins, another great save, kept in play at the net by Stanford. Block, De Beer again saved by Stanford. Great rally here in set 3. And it ends in a point for Stanford. The longest point of the match so far, and a big one for Stanford. It ties it at 16.
Stanford's backcourt just doesn't give up. The junior DS, Anna Pringle, making play after play just to keep the ball alive. She was the MVP of that rally.
Freedom Hall crowd trying to rally their Cardinals as Stanford has come back to tie it. Block, back row attack, Looper. Great job by Ogilvy, but it floats out of play. Point for Louisville.
It's one thing to be right there. Ogilvy's in a perfect position, but with the amount of power that Louisville's bringing, it's another thing to handle it.
Anna De Beer. Service error. She has struggled to find her serve tonight.
Well, it's Anna De Beer's 4th missed serve already on the night. She has to do a better job of dialing it in on the back line.
Tied at 17. Here's Ogilvy. Point for Louisville.
Really good set from Ellie Glock. This ball just a little bit too tight, but she changes her shoulders and is able to get her middle of that ball.
There's Rubin, and she pumps her fists. It's part of her follow-through. Nothing soft about Rubin after that soft shot earlier. She's been ripping them.
Especially as we get later and later in the set, expect Rubin to continue to up that intensity.
Tied again. Block. Looper.
We're just going punch for punch at this point. This is exactly what we expected in this matchup. A back and forth battle, big swing after big swing, and that defensive intensity has been outstanding.
Cabello on to serve. Sammy Francis finds the opening and gets the point. Tied again.
Francis has been a little bit quiet this set. Minor hasn't been able to get her going because the pass hasn't allowed that. That was a good opportunity to do it. Even though it was an okay set, Francis found a way out of it. Smart play from Maldonado Diaz. She's been bringing heat this entire night. That's what makes the tip so effective. You're expecting power, she changes it up.
Looper goes long with a serve, and we're tied again. But every time Stanford comes back to tie up, Louisville has had the answer. Stanford has not had the lead in this third set.
Stanford's been chasing this entire set. This is when it becomes important to finish. Both head coaches want to find out what some of their players are made of in these big moments. This is the perfect opportunity in the red zone from point 20 on.
Served by you. Cabello gets it. De Beer. De Beer again. That's a point for Louisville. Once again, the Cards have an answer.
Expect both sides to go to their go-to attackers late in this set. It is a pivotal moment because then you can go up 2-1 and a massive advantage on the road to a national semifinal.
Bergeron Kong back to serve for Louisville. Kurt Looper laid out to get it, but it's out of play. And we are tied again.
A good chase down on Louisville's side. Looper trying to go get it. So Bergeron Kong just served. She normally has a serve sub coming in. That tells you that Louisville's getting low on subs in this 6-2 system where they're using them. We've been trading points.
tie of the third set. Cabello, that's very close to the net, but we're still playing. Maldonado Diaz, and again, Louisville has the answer.
Maldonado Diaz has been outstanding. When it matters most, Louisville's getting her the ball, and she's been delivering.
Short serve. Kurt has room to get it over. Cabello, Cressy on the slide, and it's a point for Louisville. It doesn't sound like a lot, but they have stretched it out to a 2-point lead, which feels enormous late here in the third set. Timeout called by Stanford. Wondered which team would be able to sustain their offensive excellence for longer, and the question has been answered by Louisville. They are hitting .353 in this set and .326 in the match against Stanford.
Stanford's still in it. That's the crazy part of this. During set 3, they've been trading points back and forth. Stanford's defense has really stepped up, but Louisville has to find a way to close this and get that 2-1 advantage and shut the door completely on the Cardinal. Louisville especially can't handle any more back and forth. They only have one sub remaining. Maldonado Diaz in the backcourt, Cabello in the front court. They might have to stick with this.
And a service error. How critical is that if we go to extra points here in this third set?
Well, it's massive because then Louisville's playing in a system that they're not used to. Setters playing front row. In the 6-2 system, their setter is always in the back court. Now you have Cabello staying in the front court, so a 2-hitter rotation for Louisville.
And the block. That's down. Stanford realizes that they have this opening right here. Timeout called by Louisville. Tied at 23. We are tied again here in this third set, but it just feels like a little momentum shift here for Stanford with what you pointed out about the substitutions for Louisville.
Especially when you are up 2 points and just 2 away from closing a set against your in-conference rival. You have to find a way to close that door. Keep the pressure on, keep the foot on the pedal.
One of the players to keep an eye on, Charity Looper. She may only have spent one season at Louisville, but she's overcome a lot to get on court today. The undersized player injured her knee at UCLA, but she told me when she looks at that knee brace, all she sees is motivation and gratitude to be on the court. And where does that fire come from? Well, during the national anthem, you might have noticed her looking down at a tattoo on her right forearm in honor of her late uncle, Larry Love, and she repeats the words, "You and me, we got this." And I wonder if she's repeating those words right now.
Charity Looper has grown so much since she came into this program. Something that stood out in that 5th set against UNI, Danny Busboom-Kelly told us she hit a ball out, and normally in the past, she would have been tentative and tipped the next one or gone into the block, but she absolutely crushed it, and that's when Danny Busboom-Kelly knew that Charity Looper can handle these high-pressure situations, and she has to do that right now.
Recently, we were tied at 16, at 17, at 18, at 19, at 20, at 21, and now we're tied at 23. Timeout called by Louisville, and now Pringle will serve again for Stanford. Back-to-back points for the Cardinal to even things up.
And Louisville in a 2-hitter rotation, center front row.
Cabello. Minor. Huge advantage for Stanford, and now they have set point.
Smart decision for Minor to go after the player that is not used to playing front court, and Rubin takes advantage of that and puts it down. High IQ play on Stanford's side.
Take me through substitutions. It's not something that we keep a tally of, but there is a limit for teams, and that's what Louisville's up against right now.
Each team gets 15 substitutions per set. When you're running a 6-2 system, that means that you're constantly switching because you have your setter in the back row at all time, and you have a right side always in the front court. So you have constant switches every 3 rotations. You have 2 of them. So you burn through subs really fast. It becomes really difficult in high pressure situations when you've been trading points because you're moving rotation to rotation to rotation. That means a lot of switches are happening and you're cutting down on that sub count. Louisville's in a situation right now where they've used 14 out of their 15 subs, so they only have 1 left, and they've decided to keep Nialise Cabello in the front court and Sophie Maldonado-Diaz in the back court.
So Louisville uses their final timeout just to make sure everyone's on the same page and try to slow things down as Stanford has a set point. Most wonderful time of the year. We'll roll on IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl, South Alabama, Western Michigan. That is underway over on ESPN because, can you believe it? We are already after 9 o'clock in the East. Nothing against my friends in football. It does not top what we have going on right here. It is set point. Diaz, big point, huge point there for Louisville to tie it at 24.
That is a season-saving point, not allowing your opponent to go up 2-1 in a match. Clutch play from a 5th-year right side.
DeBeer has struggled with her serve, gets this one in. Rubin, the block is out of play. Point Stanford, set point again for the Cardinal. Ogilvy will move to the opposite side of the court to put this serve into play. Back row, chance here for Stanford. Rubin! Cressy is there with the block.
Louisville has battled back anytime they've gotten punched late in the set. Stanford played from behind this entire time. Now it's about who can finish.
Minor. Rubin, that won't clear the tape, and now it's set point for Louisville. Timeout, Stanford.
In these high-pressure moments, you've got to go out swinging. You need to be the one to take the big swing in the big moment. Rubin has to come out on the next swing and go all out.
Set 1, set 2, a combined 4 ties and 2 lead changes. We've made up for lost time with the ties here in set 3. And now it's a set point for the first time here in the 3rd set for Louisville after they fought off 2 set points for Stanford.
Both teams have had an answer for each other. Stanford was playing from behind the entire set up until the point when it mattered most. That's what Kevin Hamley told us this week. He wanted to see from his team, can those young players rise to the occasion, especially in these tight moments? And what a bigger moment than this. A chance for your team to go up 2-1 or your chance for your team to go down 2-1. That is season changing in terms of momentum.
Stanford already on the Terraflex, ready for this Louisville serve, but the Cardinals taking their time in the huddle.
On Stanford's side, they have to feel confident in this rotation. Elia Rubin up front, Sammy Francis, and Jordan Harvey, 3 phenomenal options for Kami Minor to use. The key for Louisville is knocking Stanford out of system so they can't use all those options.
But like we talked about, sets 1 and sets 2, it starts with the pass. Elena Scott, the senior from Louisville, to serve. Rubin, it's in. Stanford fights off a set point.
You have to go out swinging. Great swing from Rubin in a big moment, being aggressive.
Here's Harvey, a reminder, perhaps the most aggressive of the servers for Stanford. Handled by DeBeer. Looper hangs in the air, drops the hammer, and it's set point again for Louisville.
Big swing for Charity Looper in a big moment, and now Cabello back to the backcourt. They've got Sophie Maldonado-Diaz, who has been lights out for this Louisville team, back to the front.
Cabello to serve for the set. Set point number 2. Minor. Chance here for Louisville. Maldonado-Diaz puts it away. Louisville fights off 2 set points, and they take set 3, and they're on top 2-1 in a rowdy, raucous Freedom Hall. We're that close to going up 2-1. You had Louisville going away with what they had been doing all season long because of the substitution issue, and you let it get away. How do you respond here?
You can't stay tentative. At the end of that set, Stanford showed that they weren't serving as tough, and we saw some tips. They need to stay aggressive.
That's tight at the net. Oh, Pringle saved it. Well, they say a violation here for Stanford, a net violation, so point Louisville.
We've seen the margin for error is so thin in this matchup. Those errors you just cannot have.
Harvey, good swing from the right side. She gets the kill.
Stanford also needs to continue to stay a little diverse in their attack. During set 1, they got a ton of middle attempts, a lot of right side. During set 2 and set 3, most of them were just outside sets. They need to get Kami Minor in a better position to make that offense unpredictable.
Change here for Stanford as Taylor Bevan comes on. And Stanford gets the point. She did not play against LMU in round 2 or against Florida in round 3.
So this is a new rule in volleyball. You can actually have 2 liberos. This is a way Stanford is using it as a serve sub for their normal libero, Elena Ogilvy.
Kept up by Pringle, but Looper puts it down.
Louisville's just playing with a little extra forcing this overpass, and there was no question about this play. Charity Looper going up and thumping it.
Looper in the win against Stanford at the Center at 18 kills, 11 in that second set alone in the win for Louisville. You talk about mixing things up, they get the middle involved. Sammy Francis had a great first set, pretty quiet since then, a kill here.
Well, you can only mix stuff up when that pass is there. That was a perfect job for Stanford. Getting Kami Minor on the money, that allows the middle attack to run.
Looper. Net violation, point for Louisville.
That's already 2 net violations in the first 6 points of this set. Stanford has to play cleaner and more disciplined.
Hambly's team won 25-22 in the first, all Louisville in the second. Louisville fought off a couple of set points in the third. Trying to build some momentum here in the fourth. They do it with the block. Kong.
Massive read from PK up front. This is exactly what we saw during the first 2 sets. Her reads were fantastic up front.
Again, the defense. Looper and Kong.
Now Louisville Louisville's just scheming with him, knowing when that slide attack is coming and getting up 2 perfect blockers on it.
3-0 run for the Cards. Cabello to serve again. Rubin down the line, missed the mark. Kevin Hambley's going to take an early timeout right here. Timeout called by Stanford, down by 3 and needing to win this set to keep things going. Could you hear me just then?
No, it's too loud.
Okay, I didn't hear myself, and I just wanted to see if you heard me.
And it's gonna be loud in the Yum Center if Louisville moves on.
Rubin off the hands and out of play. Point for Stanford out of the timeout.
That was the answer that Stanford needed, just to collect their thoughts, slow down, stall Louisville's momentum, and a really good answer out of the timeout when they needed it, because they cannot let the Cardinals go up by too much more.
That's going to be a point for Stanford.
Double contact called. They got rid of double contacts in the NCAA, but only if it stays on your side. If you take the ball over the net and it comes out a little bit funky off your hands, that's when you'll get called for it.
So that brings Stanford within 1, and will send Rubin back to serve. Rubin had 22 kills in the Stanford 4-set win over Louisville to close out the regular season. Kong! 6th kill to go along with their 5 blocks. Another big regional final for the grad student from Sioux Falls.
PK is getting it done on both sides of the ball. She's playing out of her mind tonight.
Looper. Minor goes to Kurt. That drops out of play. Just seems like that Stanford rhythm, the flow, just isn't there. They're just out of sync right now.
And during set 1, it seemed like they were taking big swing after big swing, now getting a little bit tentative. Some of that due to setting just being a little bit off, but they have to stay aggressive when they can.
That's going to fall over the net. Controlled by Stanford. Back row attack for Rubin. Back row attack for Looper. That one drops in for the Cardinals.
Smart shot from Looper, but more of a misplay on Stanford's side. Jordan Harvey, left side of your screen. She's in the right position to make this play. Just dives a little bit too soon and gets caught in her heels.
Touch by Louisville. Danny Busboom-Kelly's going to check with her team to see if I should challenge it. And the answer is she will not challenge it. So it's a point for Stanford. Up by 3 is Louisville. Coco Kirsch comes on to serve for Stanford. And that one is going to be well off the mark. 8th service error for Stanford today.
Those errors you're okay with. Louisville's been in system at such a high clip for the past 2 sets. Stanford has to continue to serve tough. Honestly, 8 errors really isn't bad for what we normally see from Stanford, who averages over 3 per set.
Camden Strand serves for Louisville. Hurt off hands and it drops in. I think if you're Kevin Hambley, right, if we're going down, we have to go down fighting.
Yeah.
You have to just show something here to get back to that aggressive mindset.
The biggest thing that looks like is on the back line, you have to put in solid serves and stay aggressive, and especially up front, you need to take big swings.
They're going to stay aggressive with the serve. Just can't get it to drop in right now. Maldonado Diaz, who's had a big match for Louisville, back to serve. 11 kills, 3 digs, 5 blocks. And Scott tried to get there to keep it alive, could not. Stanford gets the point.
And Stanford has to find any way to just breathe life into this team. It seems a little bit dead on their side. They need those high momentum plays to kickstart something and try to catch up in this.
Anna Pringle will serve. Into the net, and a point for Stanford.
All of a sudden now, Cardinals within 2, door cracked open just a little bit more. Stanford now has to take advantage of this, stay aggressive on the back line.
Pringle get it going for Stanford with the serve. DeBeer plays it. DeBeer swings. Dug out by Ogilvy. Rubin. Scott flies in to keep it alive. DeBeer's just got to head it over. Right side, Harvey. Another point to Stanford, now within 1.
Elena Scott is doing all she can to just keep these balls alive. I mean, you got to watch her on Louisville side. Number 19 in black, she is flying across the court.
Reese Robbins.
There's the answer that Louisville needed. They had to shut the door as soon as possible off of Stanford after they had a 3-0 run. Massive to get out of that.
6th kill for Robbins, hitting .444 tonight. Good serve from DeBeer. We talked about her struggle serving. Looper, off hands, drops in. Miner couldn't get there. And the Cards get the point.
Stanford's defense has to have a gut check. Those plays cannot fall anymore. It has to be all-out effort from here on out.
13 kills for Looper. That's going to grab the tape. When you're hot, you're hot. Anna DeBeer saying, I was due one of those. That's an ace. That's about as close as you can get to a smile from Anna during a match, too. Her folks loving it. Sent back and out of play. That's a point for Stanford.
It was questionable whether Hamley was going to take that timeout there, thought about it, but then realized his players could figure it out on their side, and that was a really big pivotal moment for this team that only has 1 timeout left to stall momentum if they need it.
And Bevan comes back on. That one's going to sail off the mark from Robbins. So an attack error for Louisville.
And this rotation is where Stanford has to keep this with Harvey, Rubin, and Francis up front. A great rotation that they score a lot of points in.
Starts with a good serve. They get it. DeBeer might have been going out. Pringle took no chances. That's blocked back. Great save by Pringle. Block sets the middle to Cressy.
Stanford's doing all they can to keep these balls alive, but Louisville is capitalizing on the chaos on Stanford's side. Beautiful transition play. Kara Cressy working hard to get off the net.
Kong and Cressy, the 2 middle blockers, have combined for 13 of the 55 kills for Louisville. Rubin, block! Kong and Robbins teaming up to send it back where it came from.
Louisville now feeling like they have all the momentum in this set. Now it becomes about, can they close?
They had 25 blocks in the 5-set win against UNI. They have 14 blocks tonight as we play in the 4th set against Stanford. And Elena Scott with the service error. So here comes Harvey. Harvey with a team best 43 aces this year. They can use a few here, but they get a service error instead.
Kevin Hamley preaches aggression on the service line. He tells his team it is okay if you miss as long as you're staying aggressive. So that's one that I think that viewers are frustrated with, but this team's okay with.
Getting to the point, though, where you can afford no mistakes.
Yeah.
You have to play clean the rest of the way. You're down by 4, getting late in this 4th set. Cooper. Rubin at the block again. Is it a big game with a lot on the line? That means McGraw-Kong has come to play. We were at practice yesterday, and Bergeron had to run off because she had to go get her cap and gown on to walk in graduation last night. And now, the next day, she's leading the way for Louisville Key.
PK has been phenomenal tonight, but flash backwards about 30 years ago, PK's parents moved here from South Sudan to the USA. They did not imagine the success their daughter would have on the NCAA volleyball stage. And at senior day recently, Mom Sarah May made an authentic Senegalese garment to celebrate those achievements. So on the front, you can see the graphics of the Cardinal Bird, the U.S. Collegiate National Team, and on the back, graphics of the ABCA All-East Region Team and All-Pit Regional Team. So I think it's safe to say Mom left a blank space on there in the hopes for an NCAA National Championship team.
What a story.
Family tucked back there. She's taking it all in. We mentioned the big game she's had. Her career high in blocks came in the national semifinal against Pitt a couple years ago when she had 11. Her season high this year against Pitt, arch rival for this Louisville team in the ACC. We talked about the regional final last year, and she's been great tonight.
There are some things that you just can't teach your players, and one of those things is being clutch. PK is a perfect example of being clutch. When the moment is big, they know that they can rely on her to make that big play.
Blocks are 15-9 for the Cardinals. PK's family taking it in here with a few thousand of PK's friends, trying to keep things going at the KFC Yum Center on Thursday in the national semifinal. This is the largest lead of the set for Louisville, and Rubin cuts into the deficit with the point.
Just chipping away at that lead. That is exactly what Stanford has to do. Focus on the next play in front of them and play all out. And they cannot afford any more errors.
That includes at the service line. I know they want to be aggressive, but you just cannot give away points right now, you would think. Good serve by Rubin. Maldonado Diaz and the block by Francis.
There's a momentum that Stanford needed a little bit more of. The serve knocks them out of system, and that block read this beautifully to shut it down. Stanford needs more of that. Rubin's got to bring it from the end line.
That's 11 for this set for Stanford. DeBeer.
When Louisville is trying to close this up and punch their way to a national semifinal, expect them to ride Anna DeBeer the whole way through.
"13 kills for DeBeer. Pass by Rubin, turns into offense, minor to Francis.
When Stanford's in system, they are the toughest team to stop offensively because Kami Minor is such a good setter, especially when they have that slide attack going. It's lethal. But now Sammy Francis on the bench.
Alyssa Kawa, freshman, is on the floor right now in the big spot. DS for Stanford. That one drops in. It's an ace. Taylor Yu, a freshman. So maybe it's the freshman that will lead them here with Yu and Kawa on the floor right now. Don't forget about Ipar Kurt, the redshirt freshman. Lizzie Andrew, a freshman, is on the court right now. Blocked out of play. Point for Louisville.
Big play from Maldonado Diaz. She has stepped up wonderfully in this match.
Ogilvy's back on the floor now for the Cardinal. They serve it. Minor. Kurt. Great job by Looper to keep it up. Here's De Beer doing what De Beer does time and again here in the Ville.
Anna De Beer begs for the ball in these kind of moments, and she rises to the occasion every time. She is one that's going to take big swings.
Sending it to the right side. Rubin's got it. Minor will be close to the net. The block again. Chrissy, this time for Louisville. 2 points away from the young center. That drops in. Good swing by Kurt. That's her 12th kill of the night.
Now a young front line for Stanford. Andrew, a freshman in the middle. Kurt, a redshirt freshman on the outside. And Harvey, just a sophomore. See what these young Bucks can do for Stanford.
Look who's at the line here for Stanford to serve. Senior Candy Minor, four-year starter at center. Needs to go on a run here for Stanford. Chance here. Andrew will set it for Kurt. Looper. It's De Beer. It's match point, Louisville. And a net violation called on Louisville, so the celebration will have to wait here at Freedom Hall. Set point, match point, number 2 coming for Louisville.
No room for error on Stanford's side. This serve has to be in.
It's Anna Pringle to serve. Match point number 2. Received by Looper, set up for De Beer. Off hands, block, tries De Beer again. And that is wide. Point for Stanford. They fight off another match point.
Stanford has to expect that every set is going to Anna De Beer on the outside.
Match point number 3 as Pringle serves again. Louisville. There's no place like home for the Cardinals. It's on to the national semifinals